When it does come to the England team, though, Gareth Southgate released that already, and now we've got Craig and Ian Dark on with us. Ian, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a good squad. It was largely as expected. I mean, Kyle Walker is not going to be fit for most of the group stage, probably all of it. So that's the same theme as with Memphis Depay, with the Netherlands, with Song Heung-min, who's been picked by South Korea, even though he's got a fractured eye socket, with Romelu Lukaku as Belgium as well. So Walker has to be there. And when you've got 26, you can probably take those kind of risks as well. James Maddison, all the newspapers were thinking that he wasn't going to get picked, and I think he thought he wasn't going to get picked, and he missed the phone call from Gareth Southgate, and eventually he found he's probably one of the last people to know he was in the squad. But I like his flair. I think he offers something different. Conor Gallagher, that's a little bit of a surprise, but his form for Chelsea has been pretty good. He's got the nod over James Ward-Prowse, and Callum Wilson's form, I think, demanded that he is Harry Kane's understudy in the squad as well. The only thing you'd worry a little bit about Callum Wilson is, can you keep him fit? Because he is a little bit injury prone.
Craig?
I think Conor Cody can find himself a little bit fortunate. Bearing in mind there are the centre-half at Crystal Palace and then Tomori at AC Milan. But I think that's maybe more to do with playing a back three and a certain system than anything else. I'm not surprised. There is absolutely no surprise shock that Harry Maguire is in. None whatsoever. Harry Maguire hadn't played a single minute for Man United this season. I think he would probably have picked him.
This was a possible 11 according to James Ollie yesterday.
Yeah, and I think that's why Cody's in, because he could... I mean, he might change it. He probably will. You know, Trippier will cover both sides if need be. I think one of the reasons Ben White's in as well, because not only is he having a great season, but he also covers, and Ian mentioned the full-back position or the right side. You know, Alexander-Arnold, I don't think he fancies him, but he's in. Walker's had the injury problems. If something happens to Shaw, Trippier has to go to the left side. Very, very good footballer, can do that. And I think Ben White's in because he's covering centre-half, literally all across that right side, and he's proven this year that he's covering right back. For Arsenal, he continues to play out of position and play well. So having that flexibility to do so, I think, is great for a manager. Sterling out of form really for Chelsea, hasn't been a great start, but he was always going to go because he's one of the favourites, and Southgate trusts him. But I think Maguire is not a huge call for the squad, but I think Maguire is a huge call because, and I know Ian has touched on this before somewhere else, I can't remember, that he rarely has let the manager down. Not that he hasn't made any mistakes, but he rarely lets them down. However, I've played in international teams with guys, one or two guys, who were getting little or no game time at their club. And trust me, it was a mess. Yeah. It was a mess. On the big stage, it was okay in the odd friendly. On the big stage and at the elite level, it got smelly. Because that sharpness that you get from week to week, day-to-day training and, you know, 2 games a week or whatever it is, most of these guys in this tournament, most of them are playing at the top level, most of them, and playing regular. And when you come up against a guy that's not playing, it sticks out like a sore thumb. And if Southgate plays him, and I think he will, and he makes mistakes, and he's been prone to mistakes, and I think even the last run-out he got for England, or the time before, he gave a penalty away and made another mistake. That's normal for somebody who's not getting game time and is out there on the big stage. And I think Southgate could leave himself open to some heavy criticism if he plays Maguire and Maguire gets caught out. And players that don't play regular generally get caught out at international level.
Mario, what are your thoughts on Harry Maguire and his inclusion in this England squad?
It is, you know, look, when you look at the nation of England, I think he played so many games, and I think coaches are really focusing on also familiarity. And I think that's why he got selected in that team. Why I'm talking like that? Because Holland did the same thing. And then we're going back to Maguire. I saw him in the last game playing for Man United. That's what Craig just said. His comfortability on the ball. Sometimes the ball slips under his foot. He lets it go, or he doesn't even see the man on his right shoulder. You know. So those are moments that you miss out on when you're just training, and you're not playing. hopefully, look, sometimes you can get players that didn't play really well or didn't play a lot before, and they can have an incredible tournament. So I want to see now. England always has talent, but when it comes to big tournaments, that's always where they push on. The last one, we know what happened, but now let's see if they can do it again and go all the way instead of just being surprised with penalties.
Yeah, well, they are fourth favourites, as you've just seen. But as for Ian Darke, he's not picking them to go to the final stages of this tournament. We're going to take a look at your picks, Ian. Tell us why they're not going to get to that point.
I just think there are too many issues, really, defensively. I mean, we've talked about Harry Maguire, and there is an element of a punt gamble by Gareth Southgate that he will return to form when he pulls on an England jersey and is part of that England camp. He's rarely let England down, as Craig was saying. He did have that bad game against Germany, but yeah, he is under the spotlight. He is under the microscope. And then, you've got the fitness concern about Walker. Stones hasn't played that much for Manchester City, here and there, a bit more lately. Shaw's in pretty good form, I think, for Manchester United. But I just think that defence might get exposed when they come to play the better teams in the later stages of the tournament. So, yeah, much as I'd like England to win the World Cup and make a great run, I've got a feeling it isn't going to happen.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.